Canadian pop duo Tegan and Sara were in town recently for a show, and we were lucky enough to catch up with one half of that outfit, Sara. Have a look at what she had to say.
Well, Tegan and I grew up in a city called Calgary, which is kind of on the west coast of Canada, and there was a big punk rock and I guess just like rock scene, which sort of I guess is indie rock. So we used to go to gigs all the time on the weekend. We used to go see like bands, and you would bring like a can of food. That was how you got into the show. The food would be donated to charities and stuff like that. We just were part of that scene. Like, we just thought it was really cool. My stepdad had a guitar, and at some point, we'd been taking piano lessons, but at some point we decided we wanted to try to play guitar, and then we just started writing songs, and it was kind of as easy as that. When we were growing up, we obviously lived in the same house, being sisters, but we didn't get along really well when we were teenagers. Like, we got along in the sense that we hung out and we had friends, the same friends and stuff, but we didn't have the patience with one another to sit in a room and like write a song. So it was really natural to just write my own songs and then play them for her and be like, do you like this? And then she was sort of doing the same thing, and then once we started trying to perform the songs with other people, it came really natural to collaborate sort of post-songwriting. And that's still how we work today. The songwriting process is done totally independently and autonomously, and then once the songs are recorded or demoed fully, then I'll send a song to T, and then she'll send a song to me, and usually I'll get her song and I'll record over top of it in my studio, and then I'll send it back to her. And we really only sit in a room and collaborate in person when we're doing pre-production for a rehearsal or for a record. So we're like robots. We just send files back and forth to each other. The guy that was producing and engineering the record, Chris Walla, he plays in a band called Death Cab for Cutie, and the drummer from Death Cab for Cutie, Jason McGurr, actually played drums on the album. And then we had another couple of friends, my friend Matt Sharp, who originally was in Weezer, like in the Rentals, that sort of thing. He played bass on a bunch of my stuff, and then Hunter from the band AFI played bass on Tegan's stuff. So I went and hung out with Chris, and I really got it on with him. Like, I thought he was super funny and cool and very down to earth, and he's only like 30 or 31 or something like that, but he's very smart. Like, you can just tell that he's one of those guys that like looks at a manual once and then can just like run a spaceship. Like, he's just like crazy smart, you know? And so I really liked the idea of working with him. Now it's like, God, there's so many gay people that are like open and comfortable in playing music. And I'm glad to be a part of that movement of people that are like, my music is not for gay people, my music is not gay music, but I'm gay, and that's important for people to know, I think. And I think it's always positive, you know, like, to be who you are and to be comfortable with who you are. It doesn't necessarily it's not even necessarily about sexuality. I think just being a confident, you know, empowered person, not even just women, like just to be on stage and to be, you know, we always play sober on stage. Like, I feel like a role model. I'm 27 years old and I don't want to get up on stage and be a loser who's like drunk or weird or spewing a bunch of, you know, like not thinking about what you're saying to the audience. Like, I want to be a good role model for the people. It doesn't matter if they're 35 or they're 7. Getting tattoos, like, it's weird. It's like, it's a funny thing. Like, when I got my first tattoo, I was 18, and I was like, immediately thought it was, you know, this amazing thing, because for me it felt very like, there's a ceremonious thing about like putting something on your body and like walking away and going like, that's forever. And so I love them. I tend to get them when something, you know, big has happened in our life or whatever. I got this when I was making the con, and I had it done while I was making the con, and I had to go in for a bunch of sessions, and this guy did it. He was from Japan, and he was the only person who would do the ship. It had so many details, and I really wanted a ship with the waves crashing over top of it. I think I see myself as the little ship. I don't know, but it was traumatizing kind of, because it took forever, and I would be at the studio and I would feel so tired, but then I would have to go and get work done on it, and it was like painful and, you know, whatever. And so, but it really fuses this feeling of like the record for me and this experience, and like I'll always remember that experience and like and directly correlate it to that time in my life.